All right, guys. So here we are with the orange Sunkist tank, my problem child. Just an update video on this tank. We are also going to redo this tank. If you've been following along, you know that I've redone my cherry shrimp tank, the red one, because of an ongoing battle with the substrate. We are addressing the same issues in this tank. This tank was set up the same way with fluval stratum. Now, again, I want to be very clear. Everything in this tank is healthy. The shrimp are healthy, the fish are healthy, everybody's healthy. There really isn't an issue with it other than the fact I don't seem to be getting the breeding success rate that I would expect to get in this tank. As I suggested in one of my previous videos, I drained some of the water off in here and did a fair size water change, which I typically don't do with any of my tanks. I've never had the necessity to do that. I also introduced 10 more or so younger orange Sunkist shrimp here to try and spur that breeding on. I did, after I had done all that, see a couple of buried shrimp in here a couple of days after, and then nothing. I think they have kicked their eggs off again. Now, granted, there's a lot of places in here that they could be hiding. Maybe I'm just not seeing them, but I've observed this tank pretty closely over the last week or so. I haven't seen those buried shrimp in there since. So something about this tank they don't like. I'm not sure what it is, but given that this tank is also having some pH issues and some carbonate hardness issues, I'm just going to address that and get away from the fluval stratum. I want my substrate to work for me, not against me, and it is working against me. Now, understand, I don't typically chase water parameters. Neocaradinas want stability over anything else. But when you're not seeing breeding happening at all, you do need to sort of question what you're doing. This tank has been set up for a long enough time now that I should have had some success with this. So obviously there's something going on here that they don't like. Another reason I'm redoing this, and I want to be very clear because you've heard me talk about how important snails are to an ecosystem, and they are. And I'm fine with the snails that are in here because I understand why I have so many. Snails only breed to their food source. Now, I don't overfeed this tank. In fact, I feed this tank exactly the same amount of food I feed any of my other tanks. And there are same number of shrimp in here. Maybe even more than one of the other ones that I've got going right now. Same thing with the fish. The issue isn't the food. The issue in this tank is the fact that I put two pieces of wood in here that really weren't intended for an aquarium. They're more reptile wood. And I think the issue is that that log that's in here is degrading at such a rapid rate that it's providing a non-stop food source for the snails. Now that's okay. I've been crushing the snails up, feeding them to the other shrimp tanks. I have no problem doing that. When I reset this, I am going to use the appropriate wood for the tank so that it doesn't degrade quite so rapidly, and I don't have quite the same snail issue I have now. They're not eating plants, they're not in the way, there's just quite a few of them. And if I go away on a trip or something, this is a lot more maintenance than I want it to be. So it's time to redo this tank. It's time to see if we can get some breeding happening. So that rebuild video will be coming soon. I'm not sure when. I've got to get the reds moved. That tank has to set up and run for a while so I can move them. And then I've got to clean their tank out, set it up for a new orange tank and let it run for a while before I can transfer the orange ones. So we're going to be a little bit down the road. This tank is still going to have to chug along for another month or so, I imagine, before I can do that. I do have a vacation coming up, so that's going to take some time away from me being able to move this, but we'll get to it. I just wanted to give you an update on it, let you see the tank. We'll get things sorted away, and hopefully we'll get these guys breeding shortly. Until next time, guys.